Welcome back to Coast Files, your podcast for ocean mysteries and true crime. I'm Chantel.
I'm Lindsay.
And I'm Megan. Hi. And I'm sick. I'm
Hello.
sorry.
Me too.
Yes, Megan is sick. Lindsay's getting over being sick. I've been dizzy for 2 days. I don't know what's happening.
None of us are drinking alcohol today.
No.
I actually am, actually.
Oh, right. Chantel is the...
Yeah. Vadim brought me home some canned cocktails, so I'm happy to have this. And it's Canadian
fair.
made because, we got to support the non-tariff
I was thinking
Sorry, over there.
maybe I need to find out where to buy Canadian alcohol here because I don't know where. I mean, I guess there's some things, but I want specifically the canned cocktails and I want the ciders.
Well,
And
you can always go with Canada Club. Or what is it? Canada Dry.
Yeah. No,
Canada
I
Club.
don't
Canada
drink.
Club, yeah.
I don't
Oh,
drink.
yeah. You're not.
I just told me I
You're
want to
not,
go
yeah.
for like the canned
I
cocktails or the
most
ciders that I
certainly
will
do.
actually drink.
Um,
And the
so.
Chantel is like, go drink all the brown liquor you can find.
Hey, don't you like rye and whiskey, though?
In a cocktail, yeah, but I don't really
Okay.
like seek it out anymore. I specifically drink mostly tequila-based cocktails or cider. And
I
sometimes
always find it so
was-
ironic how when we're younger, it was like tequila shot. And then if I looked at tequila, I would just have a blackout moment and almost die. And now I find tequila-based cocktails are the most like, not chill, but just they sigh my stomach better than drinking like vodka stuff. Like vodka can get
Yeah.
me really messed up, but tequila now doesn't.
I just love tequila. It's
Yeah.
great.
Well, I've
Tastes
heard tequila is the only alcohol that's not a downer. So
Apparently that
That
is
could be hard.
not
Myth?
it's more of like a myth, but I don't actually know because I've always heard that too. And to be honest, tequila is the only alcohol that it literally makes me crazy. So
it's doing something.
all inhibitions are gone when there's tequila in me. Like it's yeah. Anyways,
I
And
feel
sorry,
like
and
that's
that's the
fine
cocktail
for-
you're having right now.
Yeah, so this is great.
Actually, it's agave, but same family. So
Which
yeah.
is made was used to
Yeah,
make
tequila,
tequila.
yeah. So yeah, anyways, it's no, but more so when I like do shots of it, when I like do shots
I
of
can't.
tequila. I love
Oh yeah, I would
shots
never
of
do a shot of
tequila.
tequila. That's
my
why
God.
like in
Yeah,
a
no.
cocktail only like a Paloma or a margarita is
I'm
good.
telling you, the next time we are together, we are getting 1800 and it's the white and it is the easiest shot you will ever do ever.
And
You guys
I'll
can even
get
do a
a
half shot.
bag
You
of
can do a half
limes.
shot.
A whole
And,
bag.
Yeah, you can have your lime
Whole bag
ready.
of limes.
And it is literally, it is so smooth. I love 1800 tequila. It's
Well,
my
I'll think
favorite
about it,
sponsor
but I will
on Sponsor.
definitely make a margarita or Paloma.
Mhm.
Oh,
when that
I'll
time
have all
comes.
that stuff.
Oh yeah, no,
And
it makes great up.
Yes.
Great up. It makes a great.
we're just barely
margarita.
holding on.
Barely.
Just-
It's been a long week for me too at work. Megan's first week at work.
Like baby week, but yes.
Mhm.
And it was supposed to be, come in 1 day a week, super casual. And then it was 3 days. And then
Yeah.
from that place, I got sick. But that's okay because
Yeah.
everyone's getting sick.
Megan has to
Uh,
build up her immune system again.
I need to get out
Which
into the
we
world
thought you
again.
did over the summertime when you were like consistently sick back to back, but apparently
Someone
not.
help me.
So
No,
it
yeah,
just-
but I think it'll be good.
yeah.
And it's just, again, gotta stop licking doorknobs. It's such a hard
What do
habit
you
to
do?
break.
And gotta stop touching your eyeballs after you are
Oh,
on the
but it
TTC.
feels so good to rub your dirty fingers right in there. Oh
Yeah.
God,
Especially when you have dirt under
Yeah.
your fingernails, even better.
Ugh.
it
Even
makes it
better.
kind of spicy. And it's like a nice grit, so it really is like.
and then my eyes start
exfoliating.
watering. Then I get
Oh,
this
it's
really
good.
cool makeup look, and I don't know. It's
Everyone's now
Um,
like throwing up and pausing this and turning this off.
Yes. Which
Nothing
none of this has
bad.
anything to do with our topic today. We're just
no,
just talking. And I had to put a towel by the door because my children are loud and I don't know if you can hear them. But I can hear them.
You know what? I could, but typically I find that when we're doing the editing, it does pretty well at taking them out. So it's good. They
Okay.
don't exist in editing anymore. It's very
What a weird way to phrase that.
Yeah. You don't like children, Chantal?
Jesus.
yeah. I love your children. I love
Thank you.
them.
They love you
Just-
too. So
Yeah, just I don't want them screaming in the background of our podcast for everybody else. That's it. So
Wow,
Gentle
that's
background
brave of you
screaming.
to admit.
yes, for any parents
So
out there,
brave,
they're
I
gonna
know.
get trauma just listening to us. Like, is that my
Yeah,
kids or
right.
is it the podcast?
But listen,
someone
like,
starts lactating.
No, but please let us know. Like, do you want to hear kids screaming more?
Yeah,
Because we can do
can-
that.
I
that's
can
what we
find
have
all the
right in
cuts of it.
room. Yeah.
And we're
I
gonna
can
just
get
take a quick
hours of
pause here
footage for us.
to play 1 minute of just shrieking, and not the fun kids having a good time shrieking, the kind where you cut their hot dog wrong. That
Yeah.
kind of shrieking.
Yeah, that kind of
Yeah.
shrieking.
Okay,
Oh,
so
Um,
I don't know what we're talking about today, but there's a
okay.
photo and it is pretty obvious.
Yeah.
So Chantel, like,
So
what are we
so
doing here?
today is March 5th, which apparently is Ash Wednesday, by the way. So like
I used
if
to know what that
you're
means.
religious, that means something. But also even better, it's National Absinthe Day. So like take a
So
shot.
why are we not
I mean, I wasn't gonna
tasting
get
the green
absinthe.
berry?
Yeah, I don't think I've ever had absinthe actually, but I think it kind of tastes like
It's like
black
black
licorice, doesn't
Yeah.
it?
I
like
tried it
black
once
licorice.
in
like it.
Amsterdam because apparently there's supposed to be like better. At least
Well,
back.
I mean, I've
Well, you're
seen
supposed to actually
Eurotrip.
hallucinate from it.
Yeah.
I've seen
yeah.
Eurotrip, so I know
Where
what
the
goes
twins make
down.
out with one another.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's
Okay, whoa, big spoiler.
Oh my God.
Whoa.
spoiling a movie from like
From, like,
2005. How dare I?
Scotty doesn't know.
No. Love that song.
God, that
Oh,
song is
Matt
so good.
Damon.
You're ruining it for the next generation, Chantal. Who are clearly
How
gonna
dare
watch
I?
it.
Doesn't know
No,
the
the
Fiona
Fiona
and
and me doing it my thing every Sunday. Oh,
Anyway.
love that song.
Oh, hey, and that
Um,
circles back because she's supposed to be at church, and it's Ash Wednesday. Ash Wednesday.
perfect. It's Ash
Oh.
Wednesday. Booty, booty, booty.
And when's
Okay,
Pancake Tuesday come? That's around then.
somewhere around then,
that-
maybe.
Was that yesterday?
Before or the week after?
Pancake
When am I supposed to make
Tuesday.
pancakes?
Ash
And you also
Wednesday.
put coins in the pancakes.
Isn't it pancakes? Oh, Pancake
Oh.
Tuesday.
I never did that.
Shrove Tuesday is the day before, so that was yesterday. So
Oh.
eat your
well,
leftover
Pancake
pancakes
Tuesday.
today. Yeah.
And don't swallow the coins. I found that way. I can't speak the hard way.
What?
I'm a little bit
Coins?
delirious.
Yeah,
Don't
I
eat
never
coins.
heard about that.
You put coins in the pancakes.
What?
Is
Really?
that just an East Coast thing?
I have no idea.
I've heard about putting coins in like cake, like king cake or something, which
So my mom
My-
used to obviously clean coins. She was not like digging in her purse
yeah.
and then
So my
putting those
mom did
coins
it
in the
before,
batter.
and I forget why she did it because I don't know, but she wrapped it in
can't
like
tell you.
wax paper. and
Oh
put
no,
it
my
in,
mom just
so
tossed
that
those
way-
coins in.
Coins are a traditional ingredient in pancakes in Canada and Newfoundland, where they believe to bring good fortune.
Told you, bitch.
What?
And, you
Wow.
know, it's not for like little children. Like obviously mom and dad are cutting these pancakes up and helping. Like you're not actually
That's
eating coins.
Never heard of that before. That's crazy.
I mean, it sounds weird when you have to explain it.
yeah. I mean, definitely, but that's like the East Coast. So.
You know what's funny? We still haven't talked about the topic yet.
Oh yeah, right. Okay.
Okay.
Why are we
We
here
may cut
today?
some of this
That's
later.
me.
We'll see.
Yeah,
Please.
No, probably not. I'm lazy now with editing. So today we are talking about Antarctica, which is a word I have a lot of trouble spelling because I keep forgetting that there's two C's in it. Even though I pronounce two C's, I just cannot remember to spell it that way. So
Yeah.
my Google Doc had a lot of squiggly lines under it. It's like
I
a
mean,
lot of
this is
red.
trying to help. You can just right click on that at any moment.
I know. I should just put that as an automatic. Like, if I'm writing this, please just write this. Like,
If there's a couple A's, a couple C's, R's, T's, like just
Yeah.
know.
Just hope
I'm
that's
just
never
never
a
made to
word
spell
out
like
like
Antarctica
that.
is not a thing.
A spelling bee. Chantal, spell and
Yeah. Oh, I was not the spelling bee person. I no, could never spell. I always got my E's and my I's wrong. Like, don't.
Who among
okay.
us hasn't done that? So you're
Yeah,
fine.
right.
I wouldn't
So-
not do well.
Spell check saved my life later on.
Yeah.
That's for sure. But anyways, so today for Antarctica, I mainly wanted to cover it because I wanted to go into some of the conspiracy theories around it. So that is going to be
Ooh.
part of the topic today. But we're starting out with a lovely photo here of Antarctica. And it's been a long history of the race to Antarctica and the South Pole. And I'm going to give us a very brief overview of it because I think that this should definitely be an episode all on its own. Because what these groups went through to get here is juicy. So
Oh.
it's got to be another one. But so Antarctica was first discovered in 1820. But this just literally means that like ships went by it and were like, oh, hey,
Look at that.
this is a
This is
landmass here.
Land.
Yeah.
Looks
That's the whole
cold, so
reason.
no thanks. I'll keep moving.
Yeah, exactly. They were kind of like, I don't know, is this land or is this ice? I'm not sure what's happening. So What's funny, though, is that in 1820, 3 different people from 3 different countries went there within days from one another. Yeah. So, just goes to show that
Okay.
there is
What are
no
the odds
original
of that?
thought, like, that does not exist. An original thought does not exist ever at any
Yeah.
point in
Also, I'd be
time
kind
in
of
the
annoyed
world.
if I'm like, I made this huge trek to the ice place and then like,
To be the first.
yeah, you had the same
And you were
idea.
like,
You
"Oh,
also went to the ice
actually,
place. I thought this was
Britain
real
was here
estate
2
that
days ago."
I could
Can you guys
just
stop
no
copying me?
competition,
So, I think that mainly the people that were going there were more like, cartographers and things like that.
Okay.
It was just like, "Let's go and see this." So, that's when it was discovered that there was something there. And then 1841 is when the Ross Ice Shelf.
Oh, what? I was not thinking that was what you were trying to say.
I didn't know. I couldn't even help.
And I even literally just read that word and what you just said. I was like, not putting that together.
It's literally on the map right
Yeah,
there, right
I
right
see
down the bottom there, yeah, near Rossi. Yeah, okay. So,
This is not meant to sound insensitive, but it did remind me of all of those clips from like TV and movies when someone's having a stroke and
oh,
they
that
just don't.
that happened. Yeah. Anyways,
Ross
so
Ice
Ross
Shelf.
Ice
And that will be
Shelf.
staying
I
in the
don't know
final
how the
version
rest
of
of
the
today is
audio.
gonna go. Oh yeah, 100% it will be.
I don't even know
So
what you said before. Like how?
I'm gonna
this
replay it. It'll be a reel.
yeah. This is the largest ice shelf in the world to be discovered. It was discovered in 1841 by Sir James Clark Ross.
I
And it
was
is
waiting for
in
Ross to pop up there.
yeah, but actually he didn't even call it Ross Shelf. He called it the Barrier. That was it. He wasn't even like gonna name it
I mean, if
after
I found an
himself. He's
ice
like,
shelf,
"This
I'm
is the
not thinking I
Barrier."
should name this after me. Like,
You
that's
know
my
what?
ice
Yeah.
shelf.
This is mine.
Yeah.
But this ice shelf is 487,000 kilometers squared. That's how huge this is.
That's pretty
And
big.
by ice shelf,
yeah.
are you gonna explain what that is? Is it a giant skating rink? Like what's
So it's so
They sell
I
hot chocolate.
okay. I had to like stop myself from going too much into this because we are definitely coming back to Antarctica because there is so much to go on between like ice shelves and then the difference between the ice shelves and the glaciers and all of that. But literally it's like a part of the snow that comes out over the ice but isn't actually over any of the continent itself.
Okay.
Yeah. Um
So a permanent ice
fixture.
right?
Yeah, so
it's
it's
trying
not
to act like it's bigger than it is.
well,
Exactly.
it's
Really,
trying to be land and it's never going to be land. And when are you
Right.
going to just realize that?
Yeah. But ice shelves are actually very protective because they do keep a lot of like the ice from actually floating into the sea itself, which would raise our water levels. So like ice shelves
And
are like
that's not good.
We want
Okay.
ice shelves there.
Ice shelf, good.
Um
Rising sea level, not good.
Bad, especially if
Okay,
you live
so-
by the ocean.
anywhere.
Anywhere
Really.
by the ocean.
Um,
Well, by the water, it's worse.
yes.
Colorado,
you're,
you're
the, you're the
fine.
first to go. Yeah.
Yeah.
So
Sorry, just to interrupt you again for the
Okay.
1000th time. It reminds me of like every single like disaster movie. I'm always like, yeah, Nova Scotia got a shout out because we were
yeah,
the
and it's
first
like
to die.
because you were the first to die. Yeah, you're the
Yeah,
first to be just
yeah.
completely. What is it? The day after tomorrow or something? Where it's like,
Yeah.
and Nova Scotia is gone.
Just in PS, like
yeah.
New York, you would be gone too.
Yeah.
Like it's
Yeah.
not
Yeah.
anyway. But my like,
It's
yeah,
fine.
Nova
Just
Scotia
pick on
got a
us.
shout out.
Anyways,
Yeah.
so this is several hundred meters thick and sits 15 to 50 meters, so 50 to 160 feet above the water. But actually, about 90% of it is below the ice. It's is below the water itself. So, and it also makes a weird ass noise, which is not perceptible to your ears alone. It actually has to be like sounded up for you to hear it.
Do you like
But when
feel
you
it in
look
your
up the
bones?
noise, so they found it because they were trying to look up seismic activity, and they ended up. You know, do you remember in Independence Day the alien ship noise that it makes when it's like coming in?
I
That
think
is
so.
the noise that this ice shelf makes. So these are seismic vibrations, and it's from the blowing wind across the sand dunes, and it creates this weird ass noise.
Okay, that
Okay,
sounds
so
really
what we're
creepy.
gonna do,
Mhm.
Chantel will find a video.
Oh,
I
yeah.
will rip the audio, and that'll be happening right now.
Yeah. So the first landing on Antarctica was by Norwegian explorers in 1895. It's gonna be one of those episodes. Sorry,
It's
guys,
okay.
had a long day. But the 20th century is when the race to actually reach the South Pole started. So one day, a retired Navy officer named Robert Falcon Scott meets
Cool
Clements
name.
Markham, yeah, it is, who is funding an expedition to the South Pole in 1901. So he was like, yeah, like, let's do this because he wanted to be of noteworthy in his life. So it was more than just a discovery expedition, though. There was also a science component from it where they were going to be taking like certain samples and stuff like that to come back. So Robert F. Scott and another man named Ernest Shackleton, they took a
Oh,
crew
I
on
know
the
that name.
RRS Discovery and they headed off and they almost made it before they had to
Oh.
turn back because everyone had scurvy and they had no supplies left and they had to eat their sled dogs to survive. And Scott didn't want to turn back, but Shackleton pretty much made them because he was like, the only way that everyone is going to make it back and we're going to survive is if we leave now. So Scott kind of forever hated Shackleton for it, even though they would be
Because he
like,
lived?
yeah, even though they would
Oh.
be like cordial when they were out somewhere, he
Yeah.
always kind of like held this disdain towards him for this. And they later found out that they were only 852 kilometers short of the actual pole. So Ernest Shackleton went again later on a ship named the Nimrod in 1907, but him and his crew still didn't make it. They got closer. They got 180 kilometers close, but
I
they
mean,
still
maybe
had to
if they
turn back for the
didn't
same
eat their
reasons.
sled dogs, they could have made it faster. But if they were going to
Well,
buy it
they
by
literally
foot
had
at this
nothing.
point,
They
yeah.
literally had nothing. They were like, eat the sled dogs or we die. So
Holy fuck.
so the same thing happened again. And then later, Robert F. Scott had the chance to go again, and he really wanted to be the one. So in 1910, he took a crew on the Terra Nova, and on January 17th, 1912, they did it. They made it to the South Pole. But guess what? There was already a Norwegian flag in the area
Oh,
because Roald
Ah.
Edmondson had gotten there on December 14th, 1911, literally 1 month prior.
Oh my
and he was
gosh.
already gone with his crew. And
Okay, I can
Yeah.
see why he'd be a little pissed because like if they had gotten the first time
First
around, then they
time.
would have
Yeah.
been the
Yeah.
ones.
So, but Roald and his crew actually had very extensive training in order to go there because they knew how bad the climate was going to be. So they did a lot of this training before they even like headed out there, which was one of the
That's
reasons
smart.
why he was able to get there. And then all the crew of the Terra Nova and Scott himself died of exposure trying to get back to the ship to head home.
So like,
So
is it even
my
worth
gosh,
it then?
he
To
didn't
get
even,
there.
yeah. So Scott's crew members were later found with some interesting samples on their bodies, though. They actually had the first fossils ever found on Antarctica on them, and some of these were of petrified wood, which was a huge find
Oh.
for them because they were like, this is a massive ice block. What do you mean you have fossils of
What?
petrified wood?
Yeah.
So later on in 1914, there's another time where Shackleton went again, and that definitely needs to be covered because it's very cool what happens. And anyways, but
Yeah.
I
think-
know
anyways,
his
it's
name for sure.
on our
Mhm.
list. Maybe I'll have to check.
if it's not, we're going to add it.
Yeah.
So that's kind of how the discovery and everything happened. So the continent of Antarctica is huge. It's about 14 million kilometers squared, and approximately 99% of it is covered in the Arctic ice shelf. So this makes it the 5th largest continent. It's bigger than Europe and twice the size of Australia.
Damn.
Oh wow.
And this ice sheet varies in thickness. So the thickest part is 4.8 kilometers thick, and that's in the east side. So the east is
That's
actually thicker than the
crazy.
west side.
That's insane.
how did they
yeah.
like find out how thick it was? That seems.
I mean, over time, we do lightly touch
Yeah, like
on all of
roll
that.
down
But like I
on
said,
it.
we're
Okay.
really going to have to come back to all of this. So
Yeah.
the Transantarctic mountains actually separate the east and the west side. So you can kind of see where it says West Antarctica and then there's the
Yeah.
South Pole. You can
Looks
kind of
like
see like
there's
these
something.
mountainous
Okay.
ranges that are happening. And so that's all there and that's separating between the two. And Antarctica holds 60% of the world's fresh water.
Whoa.
99% of it is trapped in ice and the other 1% is in subglacial lakes.
Oh,
So
wow.
over
Damn.
400 lakes have been found under the ice itself. And Antarctica is also the windiest place on Earth due to what's called katabatic winds. And these winds actually flow down slopes, and due to gravity and forces between the cooled air and the warmer air, it increases the density and it gets pulled down, and they can reach 320 kilometers per hour.
It would like blow you
That's
right
200
off.
miles per hour. Yeah, like you're
That's
you're
crazy.
gone. So
It's like a
if
different
99
planet down here.
Oh, yes.
Yeah.
And we're about to get to that even more. So 99% is ice. So what about the other 1%? There is an area called McMurdo Dry Valley, which is the next photo. And it's exactly what it sounds like. It's this dry kind of area. It almost looks like you're on a completely different planet there. You can actually see, look how
I
small
know
those
for a
little
second I was like,
guys
is
are
that
right there.
life I see?
Yeah,
This photo?
little men.
It kind of reminds me of like I'm gonna butcher this, but like in the States, like all the like Arizona kind of like looking like
Mhm.
plateaus. That's what it kind of looks like.
Huh.
Yes.
Yeah, covered in snow. But
So it's very barren there, though. Obviously, nothing still grows there because it's way too cold. But what else makes it so cool is that it has a glacier in it called Taylor Glacier. So why
Ooh.
is a glacier with a very ambiguous name so cool? It has a 5-story waterfall that flows over it. But why is this waterfall
Cool.
cool?
It's made
Go
of
to the
gold.
next photo. It's
Whoa!
blood red.
Oh my
It's
God.
called Blood Falls,
This
and
is so metal.
it's
And
it's literally just this bright red waterfall
It's
and
algae,
this
right? Like it has
stark.
to
there
be.
must be something
No,
else
it's
in.
not.
It's not.
Oh.
It was thought to be originally that it was red algae, but it's not. So the waterfall goes into and onto Lake Bonny, which is what's right in front of it there. Lake Bonny is always has ice on top of it, but it's has iron-rich salts. And so the waterfall is
Iron.
fed by a subglacial ecosystem. So you can go to the next photo and it kind of just shows you what's happening there. So there's a subglacial ecosystem
That's
that
so
feeds the
cool.
falls. It comes out over Taylor Glacier and goes into Lake Bonny. But when the iron meets oxygen, it rusts. So that's why it turns red.
Oh, wow.
That is so cool.
That is really
and
cool.
like just so
I did
creepy,
not
and
know
I
about
love
this.
it.
I know. So scientists, while they're very interested in this area and lake, they are hesitant to drill into it because they don't really want to disturb the microbes that are in there because they've been surviving there for millions of years and they don't want to
Also,
upset the
aliens.
balance
Yeah,
and
maybe don't mess with it if there's not,
yeah.
I don't
I
know what the
mean,
benefit would be, but
Antarctica does tell us a lot about the
Like
earth
prehistoric.
and all kinds of things that have happened over the years. So I understand why they drill into some areas, but anyways, they're just hesitant with this where this seems like to be such a good kind of ecosystem that's happening here. Um but we're going to go way back for a second. So how does a place covered in ice and lakes and waterfalls how does a place covered in ice have lakes and waterfalls? It's because it wasn't always ice, which I'm sure you guys know and have heard of before.
I could assume. I mean,
Yes.
the ice age
Yeah.
is a thing. Also,
well,
really quick.
also our
um,
Earth looked different a long time ago. Like we had like
Yes, which
Pangea.
I'm going to touch on. Actually, not
Um,
even Pangea. I'll tell you more.
Alien versus Predator took place on Antarctica as well. Just that's one of my favorite
So we
movies
got The
as we get
Thing
from
and Alien versus
Christmas.
Predator. There we go.
That's
Yeah,
right.
so like maybe don't go.
Maybe.
Okay.
It doesn't sound like it's a great idea.
No, although this
Um,
is cool. I would want to go for the blood
Unless
falls.
you're like a
and
penguin, it's probably
that's
not
it.
ideal.
And you also have to go through like the Drake's Passage to get there too. So
Which
like,
I'm gonna
which
cover.
you'll cover.
Yeah, but also
so.
penguins. Ooh,
Yeah.
that's enticing.
You can also see penguins in New Zealand. I'm just saying.
I mean, you could also
Easy. Lord of the Rings done.
There's a zoo, Lincoln Park Zoo has penguins, but I mean, I
You
know
can see
zoos
them lots of
are
places.
right?
Um,
I could walk 20 minutes and see penguins.
Okay, so not a
but-
girls trip then, or are we on the fence?
we're on the fence. We're on the
Okay.
fence. Yeah.
Mhm.
So Antarctica was originally part of the Gondwana supercontinent. So this was made up of South America, Africa, Antarctica, Australia, Zealandia, Arabia, and the Indian subcontinent. And this started to break up about 180 million years ago, and they finished breaking up 50 million years ago. So
Damn.
either way, when this was all together and Gondwana was an area, it was lush, it was green, it was flourishing, there was forests, there was plants, animals, lakes, and rivers, there was, dinosaurs, prehistoric things, and These rivers are actually now called ghost rivers because scientists can see the river channels below the ice,
Sorry, that's
but they're
also
not
so
like
cool.
flowing anymore.
Blood
Yeah.
Falls and Ghost
And
River.
yeah.
Hey,
Yeah.
you know what? Girls Trip is back on.
Yeah. And here's another reason. Another fun fact is that in 2006, a giant impact crater was located under the ice sheet that spanned about 450 kilometers in diameter,
Oh my
which is
God.
twice the size of the crater that wiped out the dinosaurs.
Do they know when it landed?
They don't, but the theory is that this may have been what finally separated Australia and Antarctica, because that was kind of like the
Oh my
last part
God.
of Gondwana,
That sounds like big
to
enough to
separate.
like destroy Earth, kind
Yeah,
of.
to end it
Yeah.
all.
Yeah.
So anyways, 34 million years ago, the Earth was cooling and the ice sheet finally began to form. So that is your quick and dirty million-year history for you.
Science and history
Mm.
are super cool, kids. Stay in school.
So some cool discoveries that happened here. In 1960, the existence of Lake Vostok was first suggested due to seismic sounds, and it was officially
Vostok.
confirmed in 1993 with satellites, because once again, science is really fucking cool that these are how we find these things. So Lake Vostok is the 6th largest lake in the world. This lake
That's
is
insane.
250 kilometers long, 50 kilometers wide, and reaches an absolute depth of 900 meters, so 3,000 feet. And there
Wow.
are deep geothermal vents that keep it from freezing, even though it is buried between 4 kilometers of ice.
I was just going to ask. And so
Yeah,
that explains it. Yes.
I feel like I'm actually getting dumber from listening to you because the amount that I don't know is staggering.
I'm telling
Yes.
you, this could have been a 7-hour podcast today, the amount of stuff that I have. I literally
Well,
had to
we'll
start
wait
making
and
notes
see.
for my next
Yeah.
one. I was like, okay, this is going to go over here.
More content for
Um,
later. Yeah.
Yes. In 1999, life was found in this lake. So a team of scientists from Russia, France, and the USA dug, and they stopped about 100 meters above the water because a lot of them were like, maybe we shouldn't dig into the water itself. And they were able to find out lots of information just from the ice layer themselves that were extracted. But the Russian part of the team was like, no, let's go into the water.
Shocking.
So they did this safely as possible. So what they did was they dug a borehole. And
love
the
their boreholes,
extraction,
don't they?
Yeah, they do. They
Reference to another
they stuck it
episode.
in. Yeah,
Sorry.
they stuck it in, and then they were like they barely, there was still like a layer of ice there, and so they like barely
Just the
touched
tip.
the water, just the
Okay.
tip, and then the water goes up a little bit, and then they pull up, and they're like, okay, and then they
So
let
they
it
were soaking their drill bit.
they were just, yes. So then they hold it there in the ice, just above the water, and they let it freeze, and then they pull it up so that they have this like frozen block, so they're not taking up like fresh water. So, they were able to find 3,500 unique gene sequences in this sample.
No, put it back and cover it.
Both unicellular and multicellular organisms. In 2020, there was DNA found in this that was 97% the same as rock codfish, but it's expected to likely be contamination and that there probably isn't fish and things big down there. They think it's just multi and like
Okay.
small microscopic organisms that are down there.
Amoebas and such.
Yes. And another reason why they think that this is contamination is because there was other contamination that they found. Because
Russia.
kerosene and antifreeze were
And
used
Coke Zero.
in some of the samples because Russia decided to use
I knew it was Russia.
kerosene and
Can we just blame
Freon.
Russia for everything? Just kidding.
Yes.
Guys, there are
to-
Dorito crumbs on all this equipment. Like I
Doritos
don't
were first
That would definitely be a
originated from
USA
Antarctica,
problem.
Megan.
Yeah.
You didn't know
so
that?
they were using like 60 tons of this stuff to help keep the boreholes open because they kept freezing. And so they were like, let's pour this in here. So only trace amounts were found, but like humans got a human and like it was contaminated for
It's
sure.
what we do best.
Yeah.
How
So
many
another
actual
lake,
new species was there?
yeah, right. No. So they were still able to tell, like, yes, this was stuff that was likely there because they were also like extremophiles or related to extremophiles. So,
Okay.
another lake that's worth mentioning is a lake called Deep Lake, which is very original. I know.
Is
but-
it deep?
Actually, no. Its maximum depth is only 30 meters. It's not even as deep as Lake Vostok.
But now
So-
they have us talking about it.
Yeah.
So it worked.
It worked.
Yeah. Maybe it's
but
deep
what-
on a different level. Like
Well,
like emotionally
actually,
deep.
What
Yeah.
is significant about this lake is that it will not freeze. It can reach temps of minus 20 degrees Celsius. And because it is
Is it
10
really
times
salty?
saltier than
Yeah.
the
Just knew
ocean,
it.
it won't freeze. Yeah.
Fucking knew it was salt.
Yeah.
Fucking knew it.
I fucking knew it was the salt's fault.
As soon as
See,
you
Megan,
said it,
we
I'm
are
like,
a
you know
little
what?
bit
Salt.
smart sometimes
We know-
with these
we know
science
some stuff.
episodes.
So yeah, once again, they found like bacteria that live in this water, extremophiles, things like that. But both of these lakes range between 50 to 4,000 meters below sea level, just by the way.
Wow.
Yeah.
Brain don't get it.
Brave don't do smart. So other cool things that I'm not going to get completely into today, but they were worth noting that were studied or discovered there was a gravity anomaly at Wilkes Land. And this is a circular structure that was found beneath the ice. So the one that we talked about before, that's the crater, it messes with the gravitational field.
Kind of like the magnetic hill where your car goes backwards, but
yeah,
it's
but that's
uphill.
more of a trick of the eye. That's not actually gravity. So
It's a
no, this
magnetic
is
hill.
actually a
It's a
gravity
real
anomaly
magnet.
that happens. Yeah, don't you know?
When I did that,
in
I was a kid
27
and I was like, this is amazing.
Oh yeah,
I'm
of
still
course you did.
mesmerized.
But you could only do it if your car, if you had a stick shift.
A manual?
No,
And we could put it automatic and
Oh,
neutral.
yeah,
too.
I guess
Yeah,
you could
no,
put,
you just
yeah,
put it
yeah,
in
you can,
neutral.
yeah,
And then you
neutral, right.
roll uphill somehow. You're telling me that didn't happen, but I was there.
Yeah,
I rolled uphill.
I saw
I
it with
saw
my
it.
own eyes.
I
Yeah.
lived it.
In 2017, a hole the size of Ireland suddenly opened up. It's called a polynema, and they know how it happened, but they still have a lot of questions as to why it happened. 1985, a seasonal ozone hole was discovered, meaning that literally an ozone hole will open up during certain seasons of the year.
And then it closes up?
Yeah, and then it'll like open up again. 1
Do you guys
million year
remember how
old DNA was
the
discovered.
ozone was a big deal for a long time and now like no one talks about it? Did
No,
we
it
like
still is. Like, go to New Zealand, there is no ozone there, and everyone's like fucking dark.
Okay, keep
Oh my gosh,
talking.
Wear so
Everyone
much
is
sunscreen.
sun-kissed. 1 million year old DNA was discovered that could tell us a lot about the ecosystem and climate change. Neutrinos are also found in this area. Do you remember from Lake Baikal, the science part where they like put the stuff in the water and like, anyways, neutrinos are there. They tell you about like the black holes and everything. And 4 billion year old Mars meteorite that seems to contain fossilized bacteria.
Right. This
was
is
also
like
found
the
here.
panspermia theory, right? With when it basically they think that different life forms arrived from space, and that's how they can
from space.
tell.
Yeah.
Because it's like
Now,
the RNA.
there's like a lot of like,
That's so fucking
was it
cool and
contaminated
fascinating.
from here? Was it like, yeah, but it's just, it's fucking cool.
Yeah.
Have you guys seen the movie Calvin?
No.
Okay, so it's my dad's like favorite movie, and it has oh my god, who's in it? A bunch of famous people. I want to say Jake Gyllenhaal and Ryan Reynolds. I could be wrong. And they're in space, and they find like this, single cell piece of something, and there's like, oh my god, this could be the first like alien life form ever, and it like exponentially grows, and it's fucking terrifying. So whenever I think
okay.
about, it's a little sickle cell amoeba, whatever, like, no, just burn it.
Just
like,
wait.
Don't
just
just wait.
to burn the whole house down. Got
But
it.
it's so scary. I saw it in theaters, and
Is it a
I
horror
held my
movie
s-
or is it just
Oh
scary?
yeah.
Okay.
No. Well, it's like, just it's
I
alien
want to see
science
that
scary.
new one with Adam Sandler and like the giant spider.
Huh?
Yeah, there's this new like space movie and it has Adam Sandler in it. And it's like this thing is talking to him and he's not sure if it's real or not, or if it's an alien
What?
life species or
I've
something.
never
And it
even
looks
heard
like
of
a
this.
giant spider.
Is the movie called
Um,
Life?
Yeah. Life.
Okay, I thought you said Calvin. Why did I?
Yeah, you did say
Oh
Calvin.
my god, did I say Calvin? Sorry,
Mhm.
Calvin is what they name the little creature. My god, I did call it Calvin.
Okay. Well, it
It's
came
called
up either
Life.
way. Like I put Calvin movie and it brought me the movie.
Okay, so life.
So okay.
His name
So
is
the Adam
Calvin.
Sandler one is called Spaceman. It didn't do very well on IMDb.
How old is it? I've never even heard of this movie.
2024, it like literally just came out.
Oh. All right, well, add that to
Yeah.
the list.
Add that to the list. Okay. So, are you guys ready for some conspiracy theories?
Yes, and I'm like thoroughly afraid.
Okay, let's do
one
it.
one more space movie to recommend. Moon I saw before. I
Oh
think
my
it's called,
god, Moon is good.
Yeah, that was
I
good.
haven't seen that.
With
yeah.
the what's his face, super hot Rockwell.
Yes,
Sam
Sam Rockwell. Yeah.
I don't know
Really
who that
good.
is.
kind of fucks you up, and you're like,
Yeah.
what?
I'm gonna watch the ones you guys said too. So okay.
And
You
Sorry.
also
wanna watch a really good
Annihilation.
area Oh, yeah, that's good. If you wanna watch a really good alien movie, Dark Skies. That movie is amazing with
Yes.
Felicity.
Yes, crows or birds.
Something happens with birds and stuff like that.
Okay.
Yeah, a lot happens. Anyways,
I
great
think
movie.
I saw that one
Great
too.
movie.
Okay.
Okay. Pay attention
I'm,
now, ladies.
I'm ready.
Okay.
Listening.
We're gonna start out with the first theory of like dozens that are from there. I'm not going over dozens. But,
Dozens.
like there's so many conspiracy theories. There's okay. Anyways, so we're gonna start with the Hollow Earth theory. So
Ooh.
this is one of the most captivating tales, and it involves Admiral Richard E. Byrd and his alleged secret diary that details an extraordinary journey beneath Antarctica.
Okay.
So, during a 1947 expedition, Admiral Byrd piloted his aircraft into the massive opening in the South Pole, leading him into a subterranean world. As the story goes, upon entering this opening, Byrd encountered a vegetation-rich, warm landscape, which was a stark contrast between the icy exterior that he was flying over. And he described seeing towering mountains. So, by the way, you can go to the next photo for this. Towering mountains, lush forests, and rivers flowing through the hidden paradise. In the inner world, he reportedly came upon a magnificent city with structures that shimmered like rainbows, or often referred to as the Rainbow City. The inhabitants, Megan's pretending to drink and do drugs. The inhabitants here were said to be advanced civilization possessing technology that was far more advanced than any created here on Earth. Oh,
This
and
is
they
also part
communicated
of the
through
plot for the
telepathy.
new Kong movie, the newest
Oh, was it?
Kong
Oh, yes, yes,
Godzilla
yes, it was.
movie.
Yeah.
They had a
Um,
subterranean world.
Yes, they did. Yeah. So they communicated through telepathy, and they expressed deep concern over humanity's use of nuclear weapons, urging Byrd to
Same.
convey a message of peace to prevent global catastrophe. Centuries before Byrd's alleged adventure, though, the concept of a hollow Earth was proposed by the esteemed astronomer Edmund Halley. You know,
Halley's
Halley's
For Haley's
Comet.
Comet?
Yeah.
I know
So
his
he
comment
actually
very
had
well.
this in 1692. So he theorized that the Earth consisted of a hollow shell about 500 miles thick, encompassing two inner shells and a central core. And he suggested that these layers were separated by atmospheres that had their own magnetic poles and that they were rotating at different speeds. So Haley actually believed that the inner regions could be luminous and possibly inhabited, speculating that escaping gases might cause phenomena like the aurora borealis. Obviously, his his hypothesis was an attempt to explain anomalies in compass readings and magnetic vibrations that were happening. I mean, this is
Big stretch of
1692.
a hypothesis.
1692. Anyways, this
They were
theory
like,
was
no,
obviously very
don't
easily
wash your
debunked.
hands for surgery. It's fine. Don't
Yeah,
do that.
that's
But-
actually a
exactly.
bad
They
idea.
weren't doing that then.
Yeah, easily debunked, but
Yeah.
there obviously are some diehards who still believe that there is some sort of
Well, it's kind
base
of like
underneath.
a inner
Why
Earth
don't you just
Atlantis
ask the
kind of
Russians
feel.
to do a borehole and find out?
Well, we'll
Pour
get
some
into
kerosene
some more of
in
this
it.
stuff here for you. Okay, so next we have, in the waning days of World War II, the
Huh.
Nazis, foreseeing their defeat, retreated to a clandestine stronghold beneath its icy Antarctica. This is the essence of the Nazi Antarctic base conspiracy theory.
It's giving
Which
like Captain
actually,
America movie.
It does have some weight for it. So in 1938 to 1939, Nazi Germany did launch the Third German Antarctic Expedition. And this was led by Captain Alfred Richter. And they were trying to find potential whaling grounds because they wanted German to have its own fat production and stop depending on Norway for the product, which was something that was needed a lot for like butters and candles and all kinds of stuff back there. I think even some like
Makeup.
ammunitions and things like
Which
that.
is not a
needed as
surprise.
Right, and Norway already had its
Um,
win at the beginning of the episode, so sorry, Norway.
Yeah, exactly. Sorry, you can't also be helping them. So the team explored the region and they called it Neuschwabenland, means New
Love it.
Swabia. And they conducted
And what does
aerial
Swabia mean?
No idea. We're just stopping there. So conducting aerial surveys, and they were mapping the area. While the official narrative doesn't describes that this was a scientific endeavor, conspiracy theories say that this was an exhibition laid the groundwork for their secret Nazi base. So parts of the theory claim that the Nazis constructed an elaborate underground facility in Antarctica, serving as a refuge for high-ranking officers.
Well, if you've watched Nazi Hunters, they've actually did find quite a few of them. I like that show. I don't know if you've ever watched it, but
No.
Add
they
that to the list too.
yeah, it was basically them going out and like we had like some insight this guy might be in some tropical island or something, and they try to track them down and bring them to justice.
Wow. Okay, cool. I've never heard
Yeah.
about this.
It's like Dog the Bounty Hunter, but more
Exactly,
important.
but for Nazis.
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah.
I think at this point a lot of them are probably dead, but it
Oh,
was
yeah. Well,
yeah.
I mean, you would think that all the Nazis are dead, and yet
And
I
yet,
feel
let's
like I
continue
saw
on
a
this.
lot
from World
from
War
from the first go.
II. I mean, there could
So
still be some. Yeah.
So they said that this was a refuge for some of the high-ranking officials and a hub for advanced technology development. So this base is often depicted as self-sustaining, and it had advanced laboratories that were dedicated to the development of cutting-edge weaponry and aerospace technology, including the infamous Nazi UFOs or
Which I
flying
can see
saucers, which you
in
can
this
see in
great
this
Getty
lovely
image you
photo
have
here.
here.
Yeah.
Yes.
They also said that there was subterranean cities that had vast underground complexes that were housing thousands of people, shielding them from the harsh Antarctic climate as well as enemy eyes. And they also said that there were secret U-boat operations, which were utilizing a network of underground tunnels and caverns that the German U-boats allegedly transported personnel and supplies to and from the base even after the war's
And
conclusion.
I was gonna say, how are they still getting
Yeah,
supplies?
I just feel
No one
like
knows
none
that
of
they're
that
there.
is real.
So
Yeah,
in
that is
1946 to 1947, the U.S. Navy conducted Operation High Jump, which was the one mentioned before that Byrd was part of. And
okay.
this mission was aimed to establish a research base and train personnel for cold weather operations. However, conspiracy theorists argue that the true objective was to locate and neutralize the secret Nazi bases. So they claim that the expedition was faced unexpected resistance and possibly from advanced Nazi weaponry.
Weaponry.
Weapons. You know what? Weapons or UFOs, which led to the end of this Operation High Jump. Some
Okay.
say that it was destroyed in the 1950s with nuclear weapons from the U.S.
I think the world would have noticed that.
Yeah.
I
I mean,
mean,
it
there
is
was
true
some
that they
things happening.
often had like remember from when we were finding Titanic, like the mission was something else and they tagged it along as like a bonus thing,
Mhm.
but they did
Yeah.
it under finding this other sub.
Yeah.
So
So while this does have some
it
merit
does-
because the Nazis, like they actually went there. They went there and they were trying to, find a whaling spot. And like this other one with Admiral Byrd, they actually did go there. But the whaling expedition stopped in 1945 with the loss of the war. So,
Okay.
but some still believe that Hitler was actually taken there to the secret location and that he never actually died. But like he died on April
Yeah.
30th.
Also, I feel like if you're probably
Okay,
going to put
he's-
your resources towards winning the war you want to win, and like this is a lot of extra time and resources for the contingency plan. I
But
don't
this
know.
is the long game.
Where were they getting the money for this? That's
Well, exactly.
Like,
I don't-
where do
I
they
mean-
have the money to build all this? And it's don't ask the hard questions, guys. Just suspend your disbelief and let's go with it. Okay.
Just spend. You're having a rough go, but it's
I am-
funny.
Thank you.
I know it's been a rough day. Like my face hurts. Megan's sick. Chantel's
Yeah, I
Okay.
feel like I have a bowling
I
ball
can't talk
behind my
as
eyes.
usual.
And yep.
I'm gonna blame the dizzy spells on why I can't talk and not just that I'm just bad at it
Yes. So
I
she has
have a
dizzy
podcast.
spells more than
all the time.
just one episode.
Just whenever I'm presenting.
Yeah.
I know what
Speaking.
you're talking about. It's fine.
That's all that
Thank you.
matters. Based on
So you want to
context
suspend your
clues.
disbelief, by the way.
There we
Um,
go.
There we go.
Just suspend it.
Suspend it.
Just spend it all the time.
Okay.
Help us.
So, yeah, that's the Nazi secret underground
I believe
base
it,
and
100%.
UFOs and U-boats. I mean, that just has so many elements to it. There's a lot going on in that one.
I just love that like everything involves like a subterranean base.
Oh, yeah.
all of it, because it's like
Yeah.
up above, it's like, well, it's just
Well,
ice,
you
so
clearly
it's
can't do anything
they're
here.
under the ground.
Mhm.
It's a Tremors reference.
So last, we are going to talk about Lake Vostok again and the mystery of
Oh.
Organism 46-B.
Oh, that sounds like a horror movie.
So, Organism 46-B is a giant, intelligent predator. And some claim it's a living relic or prehistoric creature that somehow survived under the ice for millions of years. I have no idea what it would have been eating because there's nothing down
Honestly,
there.
so
But
far, this is
anyways,
like the most
Don't ask
believable
questions.
one to me.
Mhm.
yes.
So
So back in the early 2000s, the Russian military reportedly discovered Organism 46-B while conducting a secret expedition to Lake Vostok. 46-B is described as octopus-like with many tentacles and a massive bulbous body that can stretch up to 12 meters or 39 feet long. Its skin is nearly translucent, allowing it to blend into its icy environment. It
That's
also
creepy.
has the ability to paralyze its prey using venomous secretions that it shoots out into the water, and it freezes its victims in place. Oh, and it's telepathic. It's able to infiltrate the
Okay.
human mind and create hallucinations in order to
okay,
lure you
now
into
you
the
lost
grasp.
me.
Much like the alien
so
in
it's a-
Independence Day.
It's
Yes.
a telepathic, invisible octopus.
Yes, exactly.
Okay.
And it's
Yeah,
making the
so-
same sound as the Ross ice
So,
shelf.
Lindsay, so it's there. You just can't
Yes,
see
you
it.
can't see
but,
it,
like,
but it's gonna take
I know it's
over.
there.
Mhm,
Yeah.
exactly.
It's infiltrating your brain right
got me.
now.
Yeah.
Okay, cool.
That's why I'm doing this, is that it's actually controlling me right now. So many
It wanted
claim
its
that the
own
Russian
episode.
government
That makes so much sense.
Many claim that the Russian government discovered the creature and immediately classified the information and stopped any further expedition or exploration into Lake Vostok. Even more sinister, rumors that the U.S. scientists later trying to replicate 46B's ability for military purposes, and it's believed that the
MK Ultra?
CIA or military organizations have secretly been experimenting with the creature's telepathic powers to create a biological weapon.
This is definitely a movie. I can sense.
I
can
want to
sense
watch this movie. Is
But
this
where
I
like
would
did
the
the
definitely
story
watch this
really come
movie.
from?
What?
This is entirely fiction by a writer named C. Michael Forsyth, who was a writer for Weekly World News, and he made this and he put this on this other website. But people still like to believe that Russia's capable of pretty much anything. So, also they
Honestly,
also
until
pull
the
in
telepathic
like
abilities, like I was buying it until that moment. That
so was I until that
as
moment.
as a viable potential
Potential,
theory.
yes.
Conspiracy theory.
Yeah.
Honestly, when I was first listening to it, I was like, oh my God, they found an animal out there. I was like, what the
Did
hell?
it?
Yeah, they had me. They had me in the first half. So anyways, this also leads into because there's conspiracy theories out there of well, you're not allowed to actually go on to Antarctica and discover things anymore, that there's been these treaties put out, but actually the treaties are just saying no one owns this area. We're all
Yeah.
allowed to do this and we're all working together for this.
We're all cool scientists.
Yeah, we're all
We're
just
all friends
we're all
here.
here for the same reason.
Sharing
type thing.
knowledge. Yeah.
Yeah. So
Sharing beer, cookies, share it all.
which is why they were all drilling down to Lake Vostok. It wasn't who's going to get there first. It's no, we're all doing this. The Russian scientists happen to just be no, we're actually going to take a little bit further. But
I think I'm going to pour some kerosene down this
yeah.
hole.
You know what? They probably weren't the only ones that were doing it, but I think they're just blaming it just on Russia.
That's a great thing to do.
Let's face
Easier.
it. Yeah. But there's so much more here to cover. These are just 3 of them. They're ancient maps that supposedly depict
Technically
Antarctica.
2 of them, because this one's
Yeah.
super not real.
Yeah.
The coolest one, telepathic
s-
octopus.
So there's ancient maps that supposedly depict Antarctica from 1531, which was way before anyone had ever traveled there or ever had the ability to travel there. They also depicted it
okay.
as green and lush. I would love to cover that map sometime. I'm sure that we will.
A
There's
lot
the ice
changed.
melting at
Yeah.
an increasing and alarming rate. The Antarctic Treaty, which we should go more into, to aliens, to pyramids, to the Doomsday Glacier, which will be a whole other topic. But
That's on your list. I've
yeah,
seen that on the
basically,
list.
scientists are scared. Things don't look good.
Yeah.
Antarctica is weird. It's wonderful. It's a weird part of the world. There's so much stuff going on over there, and a lot actually relies on the studies of what's happening in Antarctica to, help with understand the ecosystem, how climate change is happening, how quickly it's happening, what will happen to the world as this happens.
Mm.
The proof is there, though. We need to change to save this planet. Otherwise, we're fucked. So,
Yeah.
conspiracy theories apart. But yeah, there's so much more to cover in this, which I'm sure that we will. But I wanted to give us a little overview of Antarctica, its lakes, and its
Yeah.
conspiracies.
Super cool.
That's really cool.
Like I didn't know where this was gonna go, and it kind of went everywhere.
Everywhere.
Yeah.
I know.
You got
that's
your
why I thought-
sciencey thing in, you got your conspiracies in.
I was like,
I
don't
will
even
say
know.
watched I think I can't remember if it was Planet Earth or Blue Ocean or like one of those documentaries with probably
Yeah.
David Attenborough.
Mhm.
But
Who
they
we
went
love.
to Antarctica, so you could actually I have to find out which one it is for us, but you could actually see footage of Antarctica and penguins and stuff. So it's really cool to like
Mhm.
see it from a perspective, especially
actually-
with the wildlife there.
Yeah, I went on a Reddit blog of Antarctica, and a lot of the people that were there were like scientists that work there or like people that
Yeah.
are other just type of workers there, and they were like, yeah, so here's what we think about the conspiracy series, and here's what we think about this, and they're like,
That's
yeah,
cool.
apparently some people think that like there's actually nobody here. They're like, yeah, I'm definitely here, like I'm definitely working on stuff, like we're allowed to be in Antarctica. I don't know what this conspiracy theory is that you're not even
Yeah.
allowed to go
Because
here.
there's not a direct flight, like doesn't mean people
Listen,
aren't there.
there is a lot of no-fly zones, which is true, but it's not anything conspiracy related. It's related to
Right.
the fact of
But
how
it is
dangerous it can be,
only
how
for
there's nowhere to
scientists,
land.
right? It's
No,
like
but
you-
there's literally certain areas. Sorry, when the winds are going 320 kilometers per
Yeah,
hour, I'm pretty
sure.
sure you can't land in that area.
But that's
you
what I
know,
mean.
so-
Like you wouldn't. It's maybe not that you're not allowed per se, but from what my understanding is that you'd be a scientist to go there because, like, unless you're getting some
Yes,
funded
That's
mission
how
by
I
your
understood it.
government or
Because
whatever.
there's
You know?
yeah, well, because there
Well, I
is
mean,
no
there would have to
government,
be-
there's no
independent.
border. It's yeah.
Well, there would
I
have
think
to
it
be
has
everything. It's not just scientists. There would be cooks there too. There would be cleaners. There would be all of that stuff kind of like working together as well.
that's fair.
But primarily it is for science, is for research purposes that people go there. But people
Right.
like to take that one little like, you're not allowed to fly over Antarctica. And it's like, yeah, maybe
don't want
today
to.
because the winds are really bad.
Yeah,
like,
I'm good.
Yeah. Yeah.
you know,
Stuff most people won't have to even worry about. You're not gonna be able to get there
Yeah.
anyway.
yes, yes.
I don't know what we're gonna call this episode, but I'm wondering if we should do like an Antarctica theme.
We can
or-
discuss that later. Anyways,
Yes.
but it's
but this because this was all over and it's
It was
all
all
interesting.
over.
I don't know.
I
how
wanted to just
describe
do
it.
the
think you-
conspiracies, but then
yeah.
I was like, there's so much more that we need to kind of get the groundwork on with this
Yeah.
as well.
I loved it.
But this is our 52nd episode, ladies. We've done it.
Next episode
That
is
is
next
so
year.
weird.
here. Yeah.
It's gonna be
So
extra
that's so
special
weird.
next week. We're gonna do something slightly different for it,
Mhm.
so stay tuned.
Mhm.
And we'll
Join
be
us.
celebrating. So
And if you've been here since the beginning, thank you.
thank you.
Thank you again.
And like let us know, like write us somewhere and say, oh, I found you on whatever, Spotify, Instagram, or what's the other one? Apple. And
Yeah.
let us know if you've been here since the beginning. Just the biggest one. Apple.
Yeah.
Yeah. What's that? What's that? The big thing that they make? Yeah.
Well, awesome job.
Yeah,
Thank
thanks,
you.
Chantel. I learned a lot today.
Good. I'm
I
glad,
learned
even
a
though it was
lot.
chaotic.
It
I
was,
know.
but you know what? It was very you, and I loved it.
After all your
I-
science episodes, like to Megan's point, I'm like, you just realize how much you don't know, which is a
I
good thing.
know.
Um,
Even like I feel like I got a pretty good handle on a lot of science things. Obviously, I'm not a scientist, but I like, I love learning this stuff. I love reading about this stuff. And then I just learned so much more. I'm like, how is this even possible?
It's so cool.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
very cool. I
Except
love
that
this.
the alien that's an octopus is not real. That's the one big downside.
Yeah,
That's
the one
that makes me
downer,
sad.
but you know what? That's okay. Maybe there is an
Yeah.
octopus there. Who knows?
Yeah.
Turn in next week, and maybe we'll have him on the show.
Oh,
As a
our
special
next
guest.
Big maybe
I would-
there. Big
I
maybe.
would love to like honestly, as much as I'm like don't disturb anything, I'm also like we have found things in the weirdest places. We really
Mhm.
have. Like who
I've
actually
seen how those
knows?
movies end, and I'm not
I
interested.
know.
Yeah.
I know. I don't want that to. I mean, the Earth's going to shit anyways. Why not? Just open it up. You know.
Sometimes I pray for a meteor. Like just so hey, you know what?
Lindsay's
Let's-
like, I
let's-
have
let's
children.
children. I want there to be a planet for them, but yeah. Well, maybe not no meteors, please.
Mhm.
Okay, so tune in next week and see if we start digging holes, trying to figure shit out.
Giant right to Antarctica. We're going on an exploration next week. Come with us.
We're going to the center of the earth where there is more Earths.
Yeah,
Yes,
exactly.
layers
there's,
of
There's
Earth.
revolving Earths going in different directions with different atmospheres and people.
Yeah.
Maybe there is some aliens down there going like, please don't find us. Like,
Plus, we hate you guys so
yeah,
much.
The
we've
fact that
seen
that
what you've
picture looked
done.
like you ripped it from Ancient Aliens.
Oh, it's so good.
Yeah,
Did
especially
not make
the
me wanna
History
believe.
Channel one that was up there with like the
Yeah.
emerald. It looks like the Emerald City. Yeah, I know. Yeah.
Yes, yes, this
I
Wizard
didn't
of
know
Oz.
what I was looking at, to be honest.
I know.
Like, it's so crazy.
The beautiful Rainbow City. So you can go on our Instagram if you're not watching the
Yeah.
video and see those beautiful photos.
It looks
Yes,
totally real.
or our website as
Mhm.
well.
Yes, on the
Yeah, that's
website as well. Yes.
Okay, let's say goodbye before
Okay.
we keep talking for 10 more
Yes.
minutes.
Bye,
We love you
everyone. Thanks
all.
for
Bye,
listening. See you
everybody.
next week.
Okay, bye.
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 Thank you for listening today. We loved having you. If you liked the episode, share with your friends, family, or anyone who would enjoy it. Also, take a moment to review our podcast on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or YouTube. Leaving us a like or comment really helps. If you'd like to buy us a coffee, please visit our coffee page at www.ko-fi.com/coastfiles. Email us at coastfilespod@gmail.com. Follow us on Instagram at coastfilespod, or visit our website at www.coastfiles.com. You can find the sources for today's episode on our website. See you next week with a new episode.